Ray here, and welcome back to our channel where it's not just about our music but about our ministry as well as how-to videos. Hey, if you're finding any of those videos useful or inspiring, consider subscribing and liking the videos. We certainly appreciate your support. This week we're pretty excited because we're finishing up part 3 of our studio desk build. And I've got to tell you, I've been able to use the desk now for 2 or 3 weeks, have done 2 recording sessions with it, and I couldn't be more pleased on how it turned out. Everything's well laid out. I can see everything well. I can reach everything well. I'm not hitting my knees on the corners underneath anymore. So couldn't be more pleased. I hope that the video inspires you, to find the exact desk that you're looking for, or to take on a project yourself and adapt this one or some of the other ones that you might have found on YouTube. This build was as much about saving money as it was as building exactly what I needed for my use. So, take these plans and adapt them to your use, but I can tell you this works out perfect for me so far. If you see anything that you could recommend, leave it in the comments below. You never know, I may be building another one in 6 months, but I think this one's going to do me for quite a while. So I hope you enjoy this video. We'll wait till around to the end. We're going to break down the cost and what it costed. We'll talk a little bit more about the build and some things that I maybe forgot to mention during the videos. But I hope you enjoy this. Alright, the last weekend, just a really couple of finishing touches, putting some leg levelers on here that actually I ended up taking off. My floor was pretty level, and I really just like the more solid feel of the whole leg touching the floor. And then this is basically the install. Out with the old, in with the new, getting all the rack gear out of the old desk. Kind of looks like a disaster. I'm kind of thinking, boy, why did I really even start this project at this point? The old desk is empty. Here you can kind of see the old wire management system, which is a disaster. Just looking forward to getting rid of all this and regrouping. All right, the great reveal, part 3. So the desk couldn't have turned out any better. I'm really happy with everything. I've been using it now for about 2 or 3 weeks. Did 1 recording session with it. Just worked out really, really great. So you can see lots of writing room, which is kind of one of the things that I needed. The rack gear now is slanted. I can read all of the dials and the gauges and see the meters running more. The mixer, I lowered the mixer on that section where it was flush here with the front, if you can tell that. You could certainly leave that center section all one level. Have my talkback mic and my voiceover mic is tucked away here nice and neat. Comes out really nice. Got my widescreen monitor here just over the mixer, so it's I can see it very well. Also have a flat screen up here that works out well if I need a second monitor, or if the band wants to see something particular, or we might be watching one of our videos or something like that, critiquing it. Really think the red oak accent, even though that it was expensive here on the front and on the sides, I think it really turned out good. Makes the desk look nice and professional. Here I didn't really realize how much I would love the rack gear at a slant. I can just see things in the meters and everything just so much better. Down here included a couple of shelves pull out, so I've got another writing surface here. Also, during a session, I can run our track sheets that I use right up here, so I got plenty of writing space, plenty of room for the keyboard and the mouse now. I'm not always worried about it sliding off the front. So yeah, this tucks away real nice here. Don't have the Mac Mini up here with all the cables and cords anymore. So what I did there is, hopefully there's enough light down here that you can see that. But it's mounted down here. I can reach it okay. The power button's right on that right corner, so I can reach it. And then here also you can see that I've got plenty of room for my legs. I'm not hitting my knees under my desk anymore. Man, that's a blessing in itself. The two drawers that I have here were in the sidecar before, that you'd seen maybe in the first video. If you hadn't seen that first video on the complete setup I had before, you'll be able to see that. But actually just got a much smaller footprint. So I don't have the sidecar over here on the side anymore, so we can kind of have more space in the studio, and just cleaned up things a lot. You can see here on the side, the accents turned out nice. Now you can see the drawers down there. Now some people may think this is a design flaw, but that's actually the way I wanted it, to have more leg room. Now you could easily extend this side piece all the way out to here if you wanted to, and you still have decent leg room in the middle sections, and then your drawers would actually be out the end so you could see into them better. Now I'm not putting anything in those drawers that I'm accessing on a daily basis. They're old hard drives from 5-10 years ago of sessions that I did. There's documents and papers, those track sheets that I was showing you. I have stacks of those in there from all the sessions. So things that I don't have to access very often is what I put in there. And literally when I pull it out and kind of look down at an angle, I can see in there good enough. Now wire management. Wire management is awesome. So let me show you a little bit about that and what the back of the desk looks like. So the lighting is not the best down here, but let's see what we can do here. You can see I've got one power cable running in here to this side that powers everything on the front, and then down here we've got two snakes running in, one from the kit side of the room and then one from the other side of the room, and they run in all up underneath here. And you can see, I mean, the management, wire management turned out really nice. These slots that you've seen me cut, the wires come up through those, and into the board. So everything's pretty nice and neat. Everything is labeled. Once again, I'm not sure. I'm trying to do the best I can to film it for you. All numbered. So all that works good. So you would think that this is probably pretty bad in here, but it's really not too bad. You can see the power cords, the Mac Minis down there. My Wi-Fi extender's kind of tucked away. It used to sit on top of the desk. This makes a nice little shelf. Also, the top of the drawers make a nice little shelf for wires and things too. So, couldn't be happier with the wire management. Added the curtains on this side of the room as well, like we had on the other side of the room. And basically, not only does it help with the sound, cover up the windows, but it's just a great place to store the guitar cases, things like that. Just neatens up everything. That's not really a studio desk, but hey, a little added bonus there. So a few things before we get into what the project ended up costing to build is I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about a few of the things that in the construction process that I didn't mention that I kind of wanted to bring up, because I think it'll make your life a little easier if you decide to take on a project like this. So one of the things is this center section where the mixer is and my keyboard is, that's two layers thick, 2 pieces of 3/4 inch birch plywood. I felt like it needed a little bit of extra support, and then it ended up actually working out better during the build for me to put it together. Now, obviously, you can make this center section as wide as you want or as narrow as you want, depending on the equipment that you're using. So keep that in mind. You don't have to stick with this exact measurements for this middle section. Now you can see here I built these brackets and I've screwed those into the sides for the writing surface, and you can see where there's 2 layers. And what I did was that first layer that I put down screws directly down into that wood bracket that I made there. And then the second piece, the piece with the Formica on top, is laid right on top of that. Now I couldn't screw in from the side because of the you couldn't get into to access that area from the writing area from the side pieces, so I had to screw from the bottom into the top. So what that did was just pulled that down and secured that top layer that's got the Formica on it to the other layer that was already secured to the bracket. I hope that makes sense. You can kind of see a little bit of the screws there where they screwed that down, and then also that made that a lot firmer. Now another thing I wanted to mention too is on this back side, that's just a 19 by 19 piece of birch plywood. You kind of see me building one of the brackets, and that just kind of fit on there. It's 19 1/8 wide, just like the rack gear is for the 2 end pieces, and I just made it about 19 inches tall as well. I got lucky. That little shelf there that I kind of looks like that I built, I just put that in there for extra support I thought it might need. And it turned out coming in handy for my Wi-Fi extender to sit on, which, you know, you could put your computer there, you could put some extra hard drives right there. That's on both sides, so you can do a lot of different things there too. So just kind of wanted to mention the size of that. Also, these red oak accents that I put on the side and on the legs, there's no screws. I didn't screw that from the outside in. So similar to how I put that second layer of plywood the mixer sitting on, I actually went from the inside, you know, where that shelf was, and I screwed a screw in there from the inside out, so it pulled that down. And then I did the same thing on the legs. So basically what that does is you don't have any screw holes to fill, and it just gives it a nice, professional, clean install, and just turned out really great. And I got lucky when I thought of that, because I almost just screwed it right in from the outside in, but I was able to do it from the inside out. So that's just another tip there, so you don't have the screws showing or anything to putty. So that kind of brings us to the cost of the project. Now, you know, my main reason wasn't to save money. Certainly wanted to save money, but I couldn't find exactly the desk that I was looking for anyhow, as far as the height and the size and the shape and everything that I wanted in a desk to fit my mixer, or some of them was going to be too tight. So these are similar. When I was comparing these to some of the Zor desk, or I think that's how you pronounce it, or some of the studio desk, those were ranging anywhere from about $1,900 plus $400 or $500 shipping, to almost $4,000. So keep that in mind when we go through this. Now, you can make this desk a lot cheaper than I did and still be a nice desk, but the most expensive thing, or one of the most expensive thing, was a 3/4 inch by 4x8 plywood. I used birch. So that was $270. You certainly could use MDF plywood, which I think when I priced it was maybe $15 or $20 less. And even though Formica covers the majority of it and paint covers the majority of it, I just still like the idea of the birch plywood better. Box of wood screws, $10. The red oak accents across the front, you know, you certainly don't need that. You could just ran that plywood out, but I thought it made it look nice. I mean, that was just $25. The 3/4 inch by 10 inch by 8 foot red oak was $60. That went on the side panel, you know, I was telling you about. It just gives a nice accent. And then 3/4 inch by 8 inch by 8 foot, needed 4 pieces of that for the legs. That was $270. So that was pretty expensive. So, you know, you could save that red oak money and use birch and stain it. I think it still would have been very, very nice. That's what I originally was going to do, and I just went ahead and went the oak route. So you could definitely, you know, probably save, you know, $250 there, if not a little bit more. So that leads us to the miscellaneous stuff. So it's a quart of black paint, it was $36. Some Minwax stain, $10. Still can't believe how much a quart of paint cost me. Black Formica 4x8 sheet, I got that off of Amazon. It was $70. Now keep in mind I had to buy 2 pieces because I messed up the first one, but I'm counting on you that you're going to get it right the first time, and you're only going to have to buy 1. The adjustable legs I didn't really use. That was $30. I'm going to count that in there because I did buy it. You may want to use it. 3 shelf slides. You've seen 2 of the shelf slides installed. Those were $25 a piece, $75. The third set I'm going to put in the middle. And I'm going to put my MIDI keyboard there. Amazon actually has them on back order right now, so as soon as that comes in, I'm going to complete that little section of the project. And then 2 rack drawers. Now I already had 2, so I didn't have to buy 4. They were about $150 a piece. Sometimes you can pick those up used on Reverb for about half that price, but I spent another $300 on 2 rack drawers, and I had 2 already, so keep that in mind. So that grand total is $1,146. You could certainly do this so much cheaper. You know, you could save probably $250 if you didn't use the redwood. Obviously, if you don't use any drawers and you just close that front section in with a piece of wood, you wouldn't need those drawers. You could save another $300. So you could probably still build this thing for $700. So keep that in mind. I'm still pretty pleased with what I spent, and I think it's going to do us a great job here in the studio. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the studio desk build. I hope if this is a project that's on your list that you will be able to get some good tips and some good ideas. We've got some new music being released here in 2023 and actually some scheduled for 2024 already. We've got our Wednesday's Word, so if you love Jesus as much as I do, that may interest you. We've got some more rig rundowns and some more gear reviews, so as we're building the channel up, if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing. Like this video if you got something from it. Comment below if you decide to build one similar to this and post some pictures. Hey, we love you and God bless you, and keep looking up, and we'll see you on the next video.